You wake in borrowed clothes, holding a ticket, while the safest ship on Earth keeps moving. In 3 hours, luxury will become a maze, and every staircase will choose who gets hope. Outside your cabin, polished corridors hiding the Atlantic's patient cold beyond the painted steel walls. You follow laughter upward, but a locked gate below reminds you that survival already has social classes. The ship feels like a palace tonight, yet every clock hand is quietly walking toward midnight. In first class, dinner ends with silver, cigars, and confidence no ocean seems able to break. One deck below, servants move faster than guests, carrying comfort through corridors they rarely get to enjoy. Farther down, third-class families fold letters to America, unaware tomorrow morning will never arrive for many. The wireless room crackles with ice warnings, but some urgent messages are treated like ordinary background weather. On the bridge, officers study a calm sea, because smooth water can hide the deadliest ice. A steward smiles while checking tickets, but his keys decide which doors will matter most later. The band plays light music, and nobody hears the ship's invisible countdown getting louder beneath their feet. You step outside, and the cold feels unnatural, like the ocean itself is holding its breath. The lookout scans blackness without binoculars, searching a horizon where danger has almost no shadow tonight. Below, stokers feed the furnaces, not knowing their heat is pushing everyone closer toward waiting ice. The ship is moving fast, because schedules, pride, and confidence all sound reasonable before disaster begins. A final ice message waits in paper form, delayed by business chatter from the wireless desk.
In the smoking room, wealthy men trust engineering more than warnings, maps, instinct, or the sea.
Behind a service door, crewmen joke silently, but their faces change when the warning bell rings. At 11:40, the iceberg arrives not like a mountain, but like a pale wall from nowhere. The ship turns, steel groans, and your glass slides before anyone truly understands the fatal wound. Most passengers feel only a shiver, which is why the first minutes become so dangerously misleading. Down below, seawater enters quietly, turning ordinary mailbags and trunk to floating evidence of disaster already. A carpenter finds flooding where dry steel should be, and the impossible suddenly receives exact measurements. Thomas Andrews sees the numbers, and the ship's legend dies before most passengers even know why. The first order sounds calm, life jackets on, boats ready, no panic, and no full explanation yet. First-class passengers treat life belts like costume until crewmen stop smiling at the rail completely under starlight. In third class, families hesitate at corridors, signs, and stairs that suddenly feel deliberately confusing now. A steward opens one route, while another passage closes, and time becomes unevenly distributed aboard ship. The first lifeboat lowers half empty, proving fear moves slower when danger still looks safely distant tonight.
Rockets climb into the black sky, but the nearby horizon keeps its terrible silence intact above.
The band returns to the deck, turning panic into manners for just a few more minutes.
You reach a grand staircase where jewels, life jackets, and wet shoes suddenly share one impossible space.
A mother pushes her child forward, while a father's hand remains trapped in an unfinished goodbye. The ship's tilt becomes visible now, turning every polished floor into a warning sign beneath feet. Below decks, steerage passengers carry bundles, children, and papers proving names for a future denied forever. Crewmen uncover collapsible boats as the calm performance breaks into sharp, urgent gestures across deck tonight. A lifeboat swings above darkness, and the people inside discover safety can still feel unsafe tonight.
Some passengers refuse to leave warm rooms because disbelief can be deadlier than fear itself tonight.
The wireless operators keep sending distress calls, while water climbs closer to their final messages below.
The engine rooms fight darkness, keeping lights alive so strangers above can find the boats tonight. Every glowing bulb is being bought by men still working below the rising black water tonight. On deck, class manners collapse, but old habits still decide who gets believed first under pressure.
A child sees an iceberg fragment on deck, beautiful enough to hide what it means tonight.
The sea looks flat and merciless, offering no waves, no warmth, and no mercy tonight outside. By 1 o'clock, the bow is lower, and the ship's promise is visibly failing beneath starlight. The boats now leave fuller and faster, with strangers gripping ropes like borrowed lifelines above darkness. A crewman blocks the crowd, not from cruelty, but because one rush could doom everyone here. You face the choice: climb toward the boats or search below for someone still missing alone. Behind you, corridor lights flicker wildly, and the safest path suddenly becomes uncertain below decks tonight.
You descend one deck, where abandoned luggage shows ordinary journeys suddenly interrupted by urgent evacuation orders.
A lost family follows your signal upward, while crew lanterns turn confusion into a narrow route.
The ship groans again, and suddenly finding one person means risking every possible escape tonight aboard. You return upward into colder air, carrying nothing but a name and a final decision tonight.
Near the boats, rules blur into human instinct, and every face asks the same question tonight. The final starboard boats are nearly gone, leaving deck space where hope used to stand moments. A collapsible boat is dragged across the roof. Officers fight time, tilt, and fear together. The stern rises slowly, revealing how enormous the ship was and how helpless it became tonight. Inside, the grand staircase floods from below, swallowing elegance one carved step at a time completely. The band's music becomes a memory, replaced by metal sounds no passenger can misunderstand now tonight. At the rail, people look down and finally see the ocean as the last border tonight. You step toward a lifeboat gap, but someone smaller reaches the opening before you can move. The impossible choice is not bravery or fear. It is who receives your last chance tonight. The lights blaze once more, making the ship look alive, seconds before darkness takes it completely. Then the power fails, and countless private stories disappear into one freezing Atlantic night forever below. The stern hangs against the stars, then fades into darkness as the Atlantic becomes silent again. In the lifeboats, survivors hear voices fade, while empty seats reveal what confusion cost that night. The cold does not negotiate. It turns minutes into judgments nobody should have faced tonight alone. When Carpathia's rockets appear at dawn, survivors sit wrapped in blankets and impossible silence under sunrise. The question was never whether you were brave. It was whether the system left room tonight. The final night was warnings ignored, lifeboats limited, doors confusing, and time distributed unevenly. Luxury did not sink first or last. It simply made danger harder to believe at sea. What survived was not the myth of an unsinkable ship, but the evidence of failure itself. And that failure changed maritime safety, because memory finally became stronger than pride after Titanic worldwide. Comment which forgotten world we should reconstruct next.
and subscribe for more cinematic dark history soon.